Hello, my name is Keshwani. There's Keshwani, Keshwani. We are here because we want to prepare for the GMAT. We have been solving GMAT math problems out of this book here, GMAT Review, the official guide, the 13th edition. If you do not own this book already, purchase one immediately. You're going to need it. This book contains 230 problem-solving questions. It has 174 data sufficiency questions. We have already solved all of these problems from this book. If you're interested in watching the original solutions to the problems, you will find the original solutions from day number 1 through 250. Right now we are in the middle of redoing the problems. Right now we are on page number 157. Let's take a look at it. Number 157, page 157. The very first problem on the page, problem number 36. Problem number 36. Question is, what fraction is shaded? What fraction is shaded? And here is our circle. Here is the center, and we're given two lines. We're given two lines that look like this, and we are told that this angle is 150 degrees. And this is the shaded region that we're interested in. Well, if this is 150 degrees, then so is this one, because they are vertical angles. They are sometimes referred to as vertical angles, sometimes they are referred to as opposite angles. Opposite angles, the vertical angles are equal to each other. So if this is 150, then so is this. This is also 150 degrees. 150 plus 150 is 300, which means the remaining two slices that we see there are together 60 degrees, because the circle has to be 360 degrees. So what fraction is shaded? It is very simple. It's 60 degrees out of 360 degrees, or 1/6. 1/6 of the circle is shaded. Let's do the next one. Number 37. A sixth of the circle is shaded. The next question says, which is not, 37 says, let's do it on the top. Which is not equivalent to the equation that they give us. And the equation that they give us is 10y squared, we are told, is equal to 10y squared, we are told, is equal to x plus 2 times x minus 2. The very first thing we need to recognize before we do any work at all is that this comes from the difference of two squares. X plus 2 times x minus 2 is also equals to x squared minus 4. X squared minus 2 squared, which is where we get x plus 2 x minus 2. And the question is, among the 5 answer choices, which of the following is not equivalent to this term? In other words, out of the 5, 4 of them are equivalent to this equation, but written in a different form. They are the same equation incognito. Let's look at first one. Answer choice A says 30y squared is equal to 3x squared minus 12. Is that what it is? 30y squared. There you go. Well, we see 30 here, which has a factor of 3. This is a factor of 3. There is a factor of 3 here. Let's divide the entire equation by 3. And if we do that, we end up with 10y squared. 30 divided by 3 is 10. And then 3 is going to cancel out. We end up with y squared, and 12 divided by 3 is 4. We end up with the exact same thing as it is given here. So A is fine. A is the same equation, just written in a different form. Let's look at B. B says 20y squared is equal to 2 times x times 2x minus 4 plus x plus 2. Again, we see a 2 here, we see a 4 here. We can take this 2 common. We can take this 2 out as a common factor, and if we do that, we'll end up with 2 times x minus 2 times x plus 2, and here we'll end up with 20y squared. Again, if we divide both sides of the equation by 2, we'll see that 2 cancels out, and here we end up with 10. 10y squared, we end up with 10y squared equals to x minus 2 times x plus 2, which is exactly what we have here. 10y squared equals to x plus 2 times x minus 2. So this is fine. This is fine. Let's look at C. Answer choice C says 10y squared is equal to 10y squared plus y is equal to x squared. But this is just silly. It's just a matter of moving the 4 to the other side. If we move the 4 to the other side, subtract 4 from both sides, we'll end up with 10y squared equals to x squared minus 4, which is exactly what we have. 10y squared equals to x squared minus 4. So that is fine. The answer is not A, B, or C. It's got to be either D or E. Let's look at D. Answer choice D says 5y squared is equal to x squared minus 2. Now what happens here? The original equation that is given to us is 10y squared is equal to x squared minus 4. Okay, watch what happens. If we were to divide both sides by 2, what we should get is 5y squared is equal to, and now we have x squared divided by 2. X squared divided by 2 minus 4 divided by 2 is just 2. But that is not what D says. In D, this 2 at the bottom is missing. That's the one. D is not the same equation as the original equation, because they do not divide the x squared by 2. They divide the other two terms by 2, but not the x squared. Answer is D. Just to satisfy our curiosity, let's take a very quick look at E. In E, we have y squared is equal to x squared minus 4 over 10. Now this is just silly. If you multiply both sides by 10, the 10 will drop out and we'll end up with 10y squared. 10y squared is equal to x squared minus 4. As you can see, E is the same equation. The answer is D. And we know now the reason. The reason is because they take the original equation, they divide this side by 2 and they get 5y squared. And here they divide 4 by 2 and we get 2, but they don't divide x squared by 2. They left out the 2. The answer is D. Let's move on. Let's move on to the next problem. Problem number 38. Problem number 38. In 38, we are told that 11 seconds are needed to run y yards. We are told that 11 seconds are needed to run y yards. The question is, how many yards to run, rather how many seconds. Question is, how many seconds we need to run x yards. That's the question. Well, there are a couple of ways we can go about it. We can plug in numbers here, or we can do it algebraically. Either way, this problem is not that bad. Let's do it algebraically first, see what happens. So we are told that we run y yards in 11 seconds. That implies that if we can run y yards in 11 seconds, that tells us that we must be able to run 1 yard. We must be able to learn 1 yard in y over 11 seconds. But we don't want to run 1 yard, we want to run x yards. So x yards would simply be x times this amount. That's it, which is same as 11x over y. That's all, nothing to it. The answer is A. Answer is A. Now, another way we could have done this problem, is by plugging in some numbers. Now, when you're plugging in numbers to convert an algebra problem into an arithmetic problem, it's always a good idea to plug in smart numbers, numbers that make our math simple. Don't plug in 20 here. You don't want to you don't want to go around saying we take 11 seconds to run 20 yards. That will be very nasty math. Let's plug in 22 here. So what we're saying is that we're going to take 11 seconds to run 22 yards. That tells us that we're taking half a minute to run a yard. Pick a number here. Let's make it 10 here. If we plug in 10 here, then our final answer is 5 seconds is our final answer, because we are taking 11 seconds to run 22 yards, which means half a second for a yard, which means 10 yards should take 5 seconds. That's our final answer. Now all we have to do is go to the answer choices, and wherever we see x, we replace it with 10. Wherever we see y, we replace it with 22, until we find the answer that we're looking for, which is 5. Let's see what happens here. 11 times x, which is 10, over y, which is 22. 11 is going to cancel out with 22 with 2, and 10 divided, there we go, it gives us 5, which is why the answer is A. Number 39, shall we? Number 39. Just give me 1 second. In number 39, we are told that we began with 10 pairs. We began our laundry with 10 pairs. We finished with 7 socks were missing. 7 socks were missing. Question is, what's the maximum pairs left? What's the maximum pair of socks that we have left out of the 10 pairs that we started in a scenario where we are told that we have lost 7 socks? This is the best case scenario. Maximum pair we still have intact. We still have maximum number of pairs that were possible still left over. Well, that's very simple. Since we lost 7 of them, since we lost 7 socks, there are 2 possibilities. Since we lost 7 socks, I shouldn't say there are 2 possibilities, there are several possibilities, but there are 2 extreme possibilities. One is the best case scenario, another one is the worst case scenario. And the worst case scenario is that all the 7 socks that you lose, they are all individual socks. None of those 7 socks was, no 2 socks were matching in the 7 that you lost. So we lost 7 individual socks. Well, if you lost 7 individual socks, then you only have 3 pairs left. We have 3 pairs left. That's the worst case scenario. The best case scenario is that the 7 that we lost 3 pairs plus 1 individual. Plus 1 individuals. We lost 3 pairs completely and 1 individual pair. So 3 pairs make 6 socks and 1 individual that makes 7 socks. How many pairs do we have left? Well, we had lost 3 pairs here and we lost 1 sock of this pair here. So that means that we have 6 pairs left. This is the best case scenario. Question is asking for the best case scenario. The question is saying, what's the maximum pairs that you may have left in a scenario like this, where you started your laundry with 10 pairs of socks, with 20 socks, and when you took the laundry out of the machine, it turns out that the machine ate 7 of the socks. It always does. It always eats few socks. So we started out with 20 socks. We counted the socks that we took out, and there were only 14 left. 7 socks were missing. Not 14 left. The 7 socks were missing out of 20. 20 minus 7 is 13 socks were left. I can't do my math. Only 13 socks were left. 7 were missing. Well, if the 7 were missing, one possibility is that they were all individual pairs, in individual socks, in which case we only have 3 pairs left now. Other one is that you have 6 pairs left and 1 individual. So the answer is this, 6 pairs. Let's go to the next one, number 40. Number 40. Lowest possible integer divisible by 1 to 7 inclusive. 1 through 7 inclusives. We are given 5 answer choices, and our job is to find among the 5 numbers that are given to us, 5 answer choices that are given to us, the lowest possible number that is divisible by all the integers 1 through 7 inclusive. Let's find out, shall we? First answer choice happens to be the lowest number, so we're going to start with that. Obviously, it makes sense. 420. 420, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, now listen. 1 is just trivial. We're not going to worry about 1. Is it divisible by 2? Obviously, it's divisible by 2 because it's an even number. How do we know if a number is divisible by 3? A number is divisible by 3 if the sum of the digits is divisible by 3. If the sum of the digits of a given number is divisible by 3, then the number itself is divisible by 3. Here we have 4 plus 2, which is 6, which tells us that this is divisible by 3. 3 works. How do we know if a number is divisible by 4? A number is divisible by 4 if the last two digits are divisible by 4. We only have to worry about the last two digits, because this 100 digit, we don't have to worry about it. Obviously, any multiple of 100 is divisible by 4, because 100 is divisible by 4. If the 100 is divisible by 4, then so is 200, 300, 400. Any multiple of 100 is going to be divisible by 4. We only have to concentrate on the last two digits. Last two digits here happen to be 20. 20 is divisible by 4, which means this number is divisible by 4. How do we know if a number is divisible by 5? Well, a number is divisible by 5 if it ends in a 0 or a 5. This thing ends in a 0, so it is divisible by 5. How do we know if a number is divisible by 6? A number is divisible by 6 if it is divisible by 2 and 3. And 3. A number is divisible by 6 if it's divisible by 2 and 3. And we already established that this is an even number, which means it's divisible by 2. We already established that some of the digits here is 6, which is divisible by 3. Therefore, the number is divisible by 3. So we already know that it's divisible by 2 and it's divisible by 3, which means it's divisible by 6. Last thing we have to do is check for 7. Well, 7 is very easy. 42 divided by 7 is 6. And we have a 0 at the end, which means if you divide it, it's going to get 60. This number is evenly divisible by 7 as well. Oh, there you go. We got lucky. Turns out that the lowest number in the list actually is the one that happens to be one that is divisible by all 7 numbers. Now, the way I phrased it just now, I'm going to say it one more time. See if you can pay attention to how I phrased it. It turns out that the lowest number that they give us in the list is the one that is divisible by all 7 of these integers, 1 through 7. But if you look closely, listen carefully, if you look closely, you will find that all 5 of the answer choices are divisible by all 7 of these integers. The next one is 840. Of course, 840 is going to be divisible by all of this thing, because 840 is just twice this amount. So whatever answers that you were getting before when you divided by this number, it's going to be twice the amount. The next one is 1260. Let's check very quickly 1260. I'm going to show you that 1260 is also divisible by all of these 7 integers. 1260, which is answer choice C. Okay, we're going to make it very quickly. We're going to make it very quick. 1260. 1260, of course, is an even number. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Therefore, it's divisible by 2. 1 plus 2 is 3, and 3 plus 6 is 9. Since 9 is divisible by 3, this number is divisible by 3. Since the last two digits are 60, and since 60 is divisible by 4, this entire number is divisible by 4. It's divisible by 5 because it ends in a 0 or a 5. It is divisible by 6 because we just established that it was divisible by both 2 and 3. Well, if it's divisible by both 2 and 3, it's going to be divisible by 6. Is this number divisible by 7? It is divisible by 7. I'm going to show you. 1260, you have to divide by 7. Okay, listen to me and how we do it. How many 7s in a 12? How many 7s in a 12? 12 has 1 7. The remaining 5 goes and joins the 6, becomes 56. How many 7 in a 56? 7 7s are 49, 7 8s are 56. And then how many 7s in a 0? 0 has no 7s. You see? It's a nice even 180. This number is also divisible by 7. As I told you, it turns out all 5 answer choices are divisible by all the integers 1 through 7, but they're looking for the smallest one. The lowest one is the first answer choice A. The next one they give you is 2560, 2520, 2520, and that's twice this amount is 2400 and twice this amount is 120. That's what they're getting 2520. If this number is divisible by all of these integers, then so is that number, because whatever results that we're getting before, now we're going to get twice as much result when we divide it by 2520 in the answer choice D. So D is also divisible by all the integers. In E is also a multiple of this. See, E is 5040. 5040. And which is twice this number, which is twice that number. So whatever answers we're getting for 2520, we're going to be, all the answer choices are twice as much or 4 times as much as this one. They are all divisible by all the integers. They're just playing with your mind. Number 40. Of course they're playing with our mind. What else would they be doing there? Number 41. That was number 40. Number 41. Number 41 is a very straightforward question. 1 divided by 0.75 minus 1, which is same as 1 over negative 0.25, which is same as 1 over negative 1 over 4, which of course is same as, when you flip it, this fraction is going to get negative 4. Very straightforward, very simple. Let's do the next one, number 42. Question number 42. .5 over 0.2 plus x, we are told equals 5. Let's find out what x is. We multiply both sides of the equation by this quantity here. Multiply both sides by this quantity, 0.2 plus x. I don't actually have to do it out physically. I don't know why I'm doing it physically. I shouldn't have to do that. And if we do that, this quantity is going to drop out, and what we end up is 1.5 equals to 5 times 0.2 plus x. 5 times 0.2 is 1, and 5 times x is 5x. And here we have 1.5. Subtract 1 from both sides, and that one is going to drop out. 1.5 minus 1 is 0.5. 0.5 equals to 5x. Divide both sides by 5, and we find that x is equal to 0.5 over 5. 0.5 over 5 is going to give us 0.1. It's going to give us 0.1. That's all there is. That's how simple, that's how straightforward it is. And that's answer choice B. I believe that was the end of the page. That is the end of the page. I'm going to stop here. We're not going to start the next page. We'll do it in the next video. Okay? Bye now.